Welcome to another in our X2 CRM training series. My name is Tom Carroll, and I'll be your trainer for this session. And in today's session, we're going to be covering the marketing module. This is the fifth session in our series of basic user training. And again, today we'll go over marketing, and some of the things that we will be covering is an overview of the marketing module, campaigns, and also long-term campaigns and what are the difference and how to set those up, web forms and where they fit into things, and then also the additional features in the marketing module I'll be going over. So let's get started. As we discussed in previous training videos, you access the different modules via the top bar of the application. And I'm going to click into the marketing module, and let's take a look at what all is here. As usual, on the left-hand side, it tells you the different actions you can take. And in the main part of the screen is our grid view to begin with. In this case, it comes into and shows different email campaigns that have been run. And you can see at a glance, and you can click into and see the details of any of them. And of course, you can determine what fields in the marketing module you want to display on the grid view by simply choosing which ones to display. Well, let's talk about all the different actions that we can take within the marketing module. Of course, at the core of it is an email campaign. And the whole idea here is to be able to reach out to a specific list to send emails to. And those lists can be created, for instance, in the contact lists here. This is going to look at the contact module, and you're able to create lists by choosing different attributes that you want to focus on. So first of all, start out by giving it a name. Then you can be either dynamic or static. Dynamic means that anytime a contact meets the criteria, it will be added to this list. Static is where you're going to specifically do something to put a contact name on a list. So those are the two differences. And you can have who the list is assigned to. If it's public, then other people can use the same list. If it's private, then only the person assigned to is going to be able to use it. And the logic type, you choose either and or logic when having multiple different attributes that you're going to go segment your list on. So for instance, if I click on the attribute, it opens up all the different fields within the contact module. And you can determine what is it that I want to segment and go after in our particular campaign, or this list is going to be specified around that different area, and then we'll make a campaign on it. So maybe I want to reach out to lead status that we're working. So that's going to be our criteria. Now I can do different things like in list, not in list, empty, not empty. Well, I'm going to say in list and working. If I want to do something else, I can also hold the control bar. Let's say it's working and I also want it to be accepted. So it's a multi-choice list list of values that I can take. Let me get rid of accepted. I'm just going to look at the lead status that is working. Now I could add different ones. Just create that list right here. Here are all of the contacts, which there are 178 of them right now, that are working. Now I could create a email campaign around this particular list. I can go back and I can edit that list. And let's say I want to add the lead status, and maybe I want to find out where did those leads come from. So I'm going to go to lead source, and let's say they came from Google. And if I save that, notice my list now is down to 49. So I can continue to get more specific if I want to, or broader if I want to. Um, so that's a way to go and create lists to then create campaigns off of. So if I go back to the marketing module, I'm going to go ahead and create a campaign and give it a campaign name. And I'm going to use that same training one name. And then you select that mailing list. Now we also have the X2 also has the concept of suppression lists. And this is the idea that maybe there's a segment of your contacts that you do not want any campaigns to go to, or for whatever reason you don't want this to go to. And you can choose any of these lists as a suppression list. And if there's names on that suppression list that also are on, in this case, training one, X2 will not email to those contacts. So that's the idea behind a suppression list. Now, next, you choose an email template that you want to email to. You can also just go ahead and create a template right here and not have to have a template. But it's wise beforehand to go ahead and create a template that you're going to utilize in the campaign. So let me use that particular template. Notice it brings it in down here. It's using attributes, so that will be replaced by each of the individuals that are on the list. I've got a link to a website in there, but pretty straightforward template right here. Now, if you do want to customize it, that's okay. You can edit it using this CK editor right here and get it just right for this particular campaign. Now, you finish out the setup by, you can go ahead and give a description. It can be assigned to an individual. I'll go ahead and keep it assigned to me. You can make it public or private or be able to be viewed by just user groups. You can specify a category. And what this is all about is that X2 allows you to have your recipient unsubscribe from all emails or unsubscribe from a category. For instance, maybe the recipient wants to receive your newsletter, but they don't care about getting any other sales emails from you. So you can specify when you categorize a particular campaign to a category that will show up, and they can choose one, more, or all to unsubscribe from. This box right here is important. Enable indirect links or redirect links. You want to click that if you have links like this in the body of your template. If you click that, then X2 will track that those have been clicked. You determine the type, email, call list, or physical mail. Email is the only one you really want to concern yourself with in email campaigns. We are working on also allowing campaigns to SMS, and that hopefully will come out soon, but emails are what we're going to focus on. Send as is who the sender is going to be listed as far as when the email is sent out, and it's going to go from this particular email account. If you do a high volume of emails in a campaign, you might want to look at using email services such as SendGrid or MailJet or something like that, which are geared towards those high volume and know the tricks to keep from having things marked as spam. If you just go through a Gmail account, Gmail will limit you to the number of emails you can send in any particular day. So you want to take a look at that. Enable bounce handling. What X2 allows you to do is set up a bounce handling account, and that's done in admin. So we're not going to go much further at that, but your admin would set that up. Where if an email bounces, it will be sent specifically to a particular email account. So you can review why that this may be bounced and then follow up from there. So we've got that all set. We've got our template all set. And we can go ahead and you can add attachments to that message if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and create this campaign. So we've got it created. Notice we've got a few other things here. The one thing that we didn't show up at to begin with was the launch date. So right now we've got it all created and we can physically launch it by clicking on this button, launch now. We can send a test email, which is always recommended to make sure that everything is correct. You could send a test email to yourself or somebody else in your organization. But again, you could go ahead and launch it now, or you can schedule it over here for a date in the future. Maybe I want to launch it the following Monday from today. And I can determine when I want to launch it. I might want to launch it first thing in the morning. And now at that point in time, the system will wake up and go ahead and launch this campaign. So that's as easy as it is to set up an email campaign within X2. Now, if I go back to the list of all the campaigns, notice our campaign is listed there. It's active, and essentially it's waiting there to be launched. If I look at one that's been run, now in my demo system, we don't have a lot of data in it, but we launched this campaign. And notice if I go down below, here's all the emails that got sent out. Tells how many are sent, what got opened, anybody unsubscribe. If it had links, it would show us the different links that you had in the system and what was clicked. And then we're going to do statistics on it. In this case, again, this is a demo campaign. So essentially 100% opened, 100% clicked, 100% unsubscribed. And we'll also do a heat map. The heat map will show you essentially by groups when people opened the email, when people clicked on it, and when they were sent. So you can keep track of how the campaigns are doing and stay on top of things. So that's what we've just covered there. Our singular email campaigns, singular email blast out to a segmented list. That's the nature of what our email campaigns are as far as the regular campaign. Now, in addition to that, we have the concept of a long-term campaign. It works very much the same, except it allows you to send out a series of emails. Let me go to that same list. Now, instead of just that one singular blast, and again, I can use a suppression list if I want to, I'm going to send out a series of emails to this group. So let's say I want to send out 4 emails at differing times with differing messages. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. And notice it allows me to set up what the messages are going to be, where it's coming from, and when we're going to send it. So let's say from the first one, we're going to go ahead and send out that first email that we talked about before. We're going to have that launch next Monday. And the next one, we're going to use a different message. And we're going to set it up for first part of May, let's say. And we can continue on with that. Let's just do another one there. Let's say first part of June. And we'll keep that message and we'll do another one in July. So now we've got it set up so that we're going to send a series of 4 emails out to that list that we specified. Here's the messages we're going to deliver, and here's the dates by which those will be sent. And I'm going ahead and create that. Notice it sets up all 4 of those, and it's going to give you the statistics as those are run. It will come back and show you the statistics here from the overall look of the long-term email. Then in addition, if I look at all campaigns, notice it sets up the individual ones so that after they run, I can go and here's the first one of 4. It sets it up as an individual campaign with those same kind of statistics. For the individual campaign will show who it got sent out to. So the same thing as if I set up a individual one. So we've got an overview of all of it. We can see at a glance, and we can see the detail of each specific one. So that's what a long-term campaign is all about. Now, in addition to the singular email blast and the long-term campaign, you also are able to set up drip campaigns. A drip campaign is essentially sending an individual contact on their own journey. It may be the same journey as someone else, but it's going to be entered based on some trigger that might happen, or you can specifically fire off a drip campaign for a particular contact. That's all done through our workflow engine. Now that would be covered. We're not going to talk about workflows in this particular session, but just keep in mind that in addition to the 2 types of campaigns I've just showed you, you can also do a drip campaign with any contact or any account, any leads in the system. Now, other features within our marketing module, we have the ability to test messages. So A/B campaigns works the same way, looks very similar to like the long-term campaign, but you would give it a name, select the contact list like we've been doing. And then the difference here is you're going to select a sample size. So maybe your overall list is going to be 1,000 names that you ultimately are going to send out to, but you can determine, well, I want to test messages. So I'm going to take a sample size of, let's say, 50, and I'm going to test 2 different messages. So this would be the first one. Let's say this will be the second one, and I can determine what dates I want to send those out. And I may even do the same thing. Send them both out maybe with some different time frames. So what the system will do, and I'm going to go ahead and create it, what the system would do is out of those 1,000 names that are in your list, it will pick 50 at random to send to message A and 50 at random to send to message B. As those run, the system will give you the statistics on the opens and the clicks, and you can determine what is the better message, and then you can go ahead and continue the campaign to the rest of the 900 with the message that you want. So that's a brief overview of what the A/B campaigns are all about. Now we have one other type of campaign, which really isn't campaign. We give you the ability to create a newsletter. And you may or may not want to use this feature, but it's just sort of a specific type of campaign where you can go ahead and set up a little web form on your website. Here's a sample of one. And literally all this is a email address and a submit. And you can take the code, you can generate the code, the HTML code here, and put it anywhere on your website. And it will show up with essentially, you can give it a title of subscribe to our newsletter. And by using this code, when somebody clicks on that and submits, all those addresses will be collected under here with your email, name if we have it, and they can unsubscribe if they want to. But the whole idea here is to just collect those email addresses that will be part of a newsletter. And then you can go ahead and run that newsletter. If you choose it, notice up here, email entire list. It will go ahead and send the email off with the message that you want to send to. So it's a different kind of campaign. Most people, to tell you the truth, go ahead and do a standard campaign to do newsletters, but X2 allows you this different little routine by which you can utilize. Now, there's a few more things that we have in the marketing module that I'm just going to make you aware of. One is the ability to create web lead forms. Now, a web lead form is really a valuable feature within the system. If I go and show you an example, I'm going to go out to a website which I control. And basically, we've created a web form and put it on this website to be able to gather information from those people that visit the site or visit a landing page or whatever you have control of. If they go and enter the information and click on submit, it will bring that information into X2 and create the appropriate contact. Now, to create this form, it's very easy. Here's a couple of examples of web forms that we've created in this particular system. And basically, what you do is you give it a name, and here's all the fields in the contact module, and you simply drag and drop that information that you want to have. So I want to get first name, last name, email, phone. Let's go ahead and add city. I want to know where they're from. Now, you can make any of those fields required, so that won't allow you to submit unless they enter those particular fields. You can resize and do some additional styling of this of the form. When you have it how you like it, you can generate the HTML and simply do a Control-C and take that HTML to your website and put it wherever you want it to show up. In this case, located it in this particular place within the website, and it's ready to go. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to be concerned at all about the ability to take that information in and put it in the proper place. X2 takes care of all of that. Now, in addition, you can do there's some additional settings. You can do some additional styling of text colors and fonts, background colors, borders, those types of things. You can customize thank you text. So once it clicks on submit, you can have a custom message come back. Hey, thank you for your interest in our services, whatever you want to there. In addition, you could add CAPTCHA if you want, make sure that it's not a robot. You can add CSS, custom style sheets to it. You can do a redirect URL. So once they submit, you can have it redirect to a different website if you would like to. You can also specify now by default, it's going to create a contact record in the system once they fill in the information. You could also specify, create a lead record, and you can specify where it came from if you want to. And it can also generate an account if it has a company name. If you used a company field in here, it will go ahead and create an account for this particular person entering. Then a couple other things. The system allows you to specify an email follow-up automatically. And an email can go out to the particular individual that, here it would go, this email would go out to the individual that filled in the information. And here it can be an internal email that might be sent to a rep saying, hey, a new lead came in via this particular website. So it's a very complete system to enable you to gather leads from the web very easily and begin to work them right away. You don't have to jump through a lot of hoops to begin to do things with that lead. Now, a couple other things I'm going to mention, but not go into very deeply. Landing pages, don't worry about that at this point in time. That's kind of a work in progress. The ability to create your own landing pages within the system. We are actually expanding that as we speak. Web Tracker is the ability that you can put a little bit of code on different web pages. So we can track, X2 can track who has visited those pages and record that. So if a contact goes to a particular page, in their contact record under web activity, it will show when they visited that page. Now, in addition to that, these are all just about settings that your admin will set up. So I'm not going to go into that in any degree in this training. But also we have anonymous contacts and fingerprinting. And what that's all about is X2 has the capability of when someone comes to your website and they haven't filled in any form, so we don't know who that person is, but they're looking around your website, we'll record that. We'll record that based on different browser attributes that they may have. And we'll record it in an anonymous contact file. And then once that contact finally comes back and fills in a form so that we know who that person is and it creates a contact for that person, we're going to, X2 is going to go ahead and connect those anonymous visits to that individual. And that's really nice that you can see, hey, this person may have had more interest than somebody who just came the first time and put in their information because they've been kind of nosing around your website. So that's where anonymous contacts and fingerprints come into play. And again, your admin will be setting up those types of things for you. X2 workflow, we mentioned that's where drip campaigns can be set up. And that will be a subject for another training session. And then marketing help. Marketing, this will just take you directly to the marketing section in our reference guide, which you can go and find out in any more detail of those things that we've discussed today and go back over those kinds of things. So what we've been covering in our session today is really an overview of our marketing module and particularly how you set up and run campaigns. And we've talked about regular campaigns, which are the single email blast out to a segment and list. Long-term campaigns, which basically is a series of emails set up on different time schedules and potentially different messages to that same list. And we talked about web forms and how those get created and what that can do as far as bringing information into the system. And we've touched on those additional features that are in marketing.